Hello and welcome to the Everything is Black and White podcast on YouTube. Andrew Musgrove here. Hope you guys are doing well. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. I'm down south where the weather is absolutely glorious. The sun is shining. I'm gonna have to put some sun cream on soon because I'm burning up. I know on Tyneside right now it's absolutely lashing it down, but hopefully your mood isn't too down in the dumps because there's been some really positive news at Newcastle United on this Friday afternoon, and that is the fact that Callum Wilson has extended his stay at Newcastle United till the summer of 2025. Now his original deal, as you guys will know, would have ended in the summer of 2024, and I think this is really clever by Newcastle United for two main reasons. Firstly, it removes any speculation that Callum Wilson could have left on the cheap in the January of 2024, and any further speculation he could have left on a free in the summer of 2024. You don't want one of your main players, distracted by what his future holds. You don't want that. You don't want one of your players distracted by speculation about where they could end up. Are they going to leave? Aren't they going to leave? So this is really good that he's got that security, as have Newcastle United, because the second reason I think it's really good business is it protects the value of Callum Wilson for the club. I still think you'll get interest in Callum Wilson because he's a prolific Premier League goal scorer. Even though he's going to be turning 32, 33 in the next few years, he'll still be able to cut it at the highest level. And what I think you might see in the summer to come is Newcastle will go out and spend big on a striker. I think that will then lead itself to clubs, mid-table clubs or newly promoted clubs, knocking on the door, offering Newcastle United some money. But Newcastle United won't accept a cheap offer because Callum Wilson has a year left to run on his deal. So it kind of just protects his value and what Newcastle could potentially sell him for. Look, the clubs could then say, Callum, we can offer you first team football, but you guys in Newcastle won't need to sell. So I think that's really good business by Newcastle United for those two reasons. It is great news for Callum Wilson as well, the man that Newcastle United relied upon for so many months and years under Mike Ashley and Steve Bruce. The dark days of Steve Bruce and Mike Ashley when things were really, really, really bad. Callum Wilson was the one who would grab the goals. Callum Wilson was the one that you'd pin all your hopes on, alongside Ant Maxim, of course, but the difference being Callum Wilson delivered the goods, prolific, clinical, and he's still doing that today. 40 Premier League goals for Newcastle United, 18 last season, 2 already this season. He has really shown why he's worthy of that number 9 shirt. And I think when you look at the number 9 since Alan Shearer, I don't think there's any argument about who is the best. It is Callum Wilson. You've had the likes of Salman Rondon, you've had the likes of Obafemi Martins, Pape Sisiani, Carol Dwight Gill. Look, decent strikers, some of them, nowhere near Callum Wilson. Callum Wilson has been absolutely brilliant. And look, he's 1 away from Sir Les Ferdinand's tally. He's 8 away from becoming the second all-time Premier League goal scorer for Newcastle United. He would overtake Peter Bates, who's on 47. He's going to get there. You would think by Christmas. If not by Christmas, you would think soon after. He's that good. 140 away then from Alan Shearer's tally. He's not going to get that though, is he? But like I say, in terms of those who have come after Alan Shearer wearing that number 9 shirt, Callum Wilson is the very best of them. Let me know in the comments if you agree. And Callum Wilson, in his statement that announced this extension, mentioned that he's very close to the 100 club. I'm sure you guys are well aware of what that is. That's the players who've scored 100 goals in the Premier League. Hope I'm not coming across condescending there. And you know what, the first thought of mine was, I felt a little bit sorry for Callum in many ways because of the injuries he's had. Could you imagine what we'd be talking about in terms of a Premier League tally for Callum Wilson had he not been hit by injuries? And he's on 81 Premier League goals at the moment. He scored quite a few for Bournemouth before the £20 million move to Newcastle United. If Callum Wilson hadn't been hit by all those injuries, I think he would have smashed through that barrier already. And I think you'd be looking at him finishing his Premier League career on 150 goals, somewhere around that mark. He's not going to reach that, unfortunately, I don't think. I think he will hit the 100 club. He'll get through those doors. He's got 19 to get. You're looking at maybe 15, 20 goals this season. If he gets that, then he's hit the mark, hasn't he? So hopefully he does that. Just in terms of what this means for Eddie Howe, I think he'll be over the moon that Callum Wilson has signed this deal. One of his trusted lieutenants, someone that he knows inside out, someone he's worked with at Bournemouth, someone he's worked obviously here with at Newcastle, someone he can rely on to get the message into the camp, someone he really, really trusts. So it's good that that leadership group that Eddie Howe has built will continue with the players and the foundations that have already been laid down. I think it's just really, really good news for Newcastle United and Callum Wilson. I mean, Callum Wilson kind of been rewarded for all that hard work in those dark days under Ashley and Bruce, you know, and the very fact that we've got Champions League football coming up, you know, it's kind of a reward, isn't it? I mean, I know there's no room for sentiment in Newcastle United, no room for sentiment in Premier League football, top flight football, but it's good to see him anyways. He is being rewarded, and I suppose a few people might worry now he's been given that contract extension, will we see his level of performance drop off? Not a chance, not a chance. And I'll tell you for why. Alexander Isak, because at the moment Callum Wilson can't get in the side ahead of him. Callum Wilson will want to start against Brentford. Let me know if you would start him. He'll want to start against AC Milan, but will he, or will Alexander Isak get the nod? The very fact that he's got another top class striker competing against him and at the moment keeping him out the side is the exact reason why we will not see Callum Wilson's levels of performance drop just because he's signed this extension. Not a chance. That desire, that burn, that want to start games is only accelerated by the fact he knows that he's going to have to work even harder to get Alexander Isak out of the side and then to keep him out of the side, and that obviously only happens with goals, but hard work during the week as well. So not a chance that Callum Wilson's performance levels will drop off. I think you're just going to see over the next few months both strikers going for it, both strikers battling out, and both strikers getting goals ultimately as well, because Newcastle's form will pick up and the goals will flow as well. So overall, I know things the Premier League results wise haven't gone quite to plan. There's a few nerves ahead of Brentford, but this is a really good boost ahead of that game against Brentford. Really, really good news. Very happy for Callum Wilson, and I think it's a really good thing for Newcastle United. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, give the video a thumbs up. I'm Andrew Musgrove, and I'll catch you guys very soon.